Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming into another video. All right, so running my mouth about the NBA a little bit. First of all, the NBA Finals is going to start on June 1st, and the Celtics won their game, so the Eastern Conference Finals still going on. The Nuggets are waiting. The Lakers in the offseason. We're talking about Trae Young. We're talking about Kyrie Irving. We're talking about the probably not likely the case of us getting those players. That's really the reality of it. I think the Los Angeles Lakers are kicking the can on the opportunity to upgrade their guard position. And naturally, when the Lakers are interested in getting somebody, the first thing everyone's going to do is try to funnel us a $40 million player. But I think the Lakers are a bit smarter than that now. We've made that mistake with Russell. We made that mistake in the past. And we want to keep flexibility as best we can while taking the data we've learned from the Nuggets and applying it to what we're going to be building. Because at the end of the day, having excess players with immense talent can only be useful if you can actually find yourself using them. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of dudes you're paying for that you're not using. Now, the flip side of that is the more healthy and deep your team, the more likely the players you're using stay healthy. So I don't want to lose sight of that. That's something I truly believe in. But at the end of the day, if you're asking us to have parity amongst all 15 of our players as to which all those guys are the same, in terms of cachet and stuff like that, I now have an updated mindset about that. It don't work. You need a star or two, maybe even three. But the way it works is, of course, you don't get the freedom of being able to just slap together whoever you want. You got to stay within the hard cap. You got to stay within the cap itself and every other provision, whatever the words would be. So for us, it's like, all right, well, the Lakers definitely want to upgrade their guard position, but we also like a lot of what we have. And if we're going to get certain players, we're going to have to give up some of the players that we'd rather not. So that's really the situation right now. How do we keep Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, and all these other guys that we would rather keep while upgrading the point guard position? Now, if we're bringing in Trae Young, obviously that means D'Lo out. I prefer that. After everything that I've seen from D'Lo, I'm cool. I'm cool. I know that it makes a lot of sense to re-sign him and trade him at the deadline next year. If that's the best course of action, I don't have a problem with that. But I'd rather him not start the season. I'd rather not have to make any trades at the deadline. I'd rather not go into this season anticipating making a trade for any reason. Why? Because that's basically what we just went through, and it sucked. It sucked. I don't want to know that I need to make trades. I don't want the field to know I need to make trades. No, no. So let's get out of that, and that's why I want us to get rid of D'Lo early. Don't even bring him in. You sign him and you trade him now. You get what you're going to have to start the season in place, and make sure you start the season with what it is that you hope to move forward with. And then from there, if for some reason stuff goes left, you can make a trade at the deadline if you feel you need to at that point. But I don't want to go into the season signing people that I know damn well I'm not going to want to keep. I just want continuity this year. Rob Pelinka mentioned continuity. I'm watching the Denver Nuggets. They ain't made too many changes over the last 2 years, and I think that's why they were able to beat us so easily in all 4 of them games. We need to know one another. But what we don't need to do is just sign people that we know we can't use in the playoffs, who we know are not going to show up in the playoffs, who we know have issues with certain things that we don't want problems having. So that's why you get rid of D'Lo now, because we've already seen what we need to see. It ain't deeper than that, man. And I understand that people are like, well, he's a talented kid. He got ice in his veins. I know, but he also has those calluses. And if these problems are going to continue and they don't have no solution for those calluses, from which I've heard they don't have any solution, and it's just bad, then we're going to have to just manage him in regards to that. And that, my friends, is something that I'm not signing up for. Not if I got AD with the foot, Braun with the foot, possibly retiring. Hell no. $20 million need to go in good places. Good places. And while D'Lo's a nice player, I can do better. And you know you can do better, LA. So that's what it looks like we're trying to do. Kicking the can on Kyrie, kicking the can on Trae Young. Obvious upgrades there. Kyrie doesn't look as realistic to me because of the pay cut that he would likely have to take, which would be extreme, like rather extreme. So I don't think the Lakers are looking to try to ask him to do that. As we mentioned yesterday, I think I'm recapping everything that's already been said. It ain't really a whole lot new, but at the same time, we do want to keep on top of things as they come our way. And basically, that's what the word is, that we're still trying to figure out what a trade would look like in regards to trying to acquire Trae Young, since Kyrie doesn't likely seem reasonable. But it seems to me that everyone who's chatting and chirping about the conversation believes that Kyrie would just overall be a better fit, that he would likely influence LeBron James to stay if the Lakers were to somehow get Kyrie Irving before Bron makes that decision. They think it would improve Bron's desire to stay, but I don't. And the reason why is because I don't think he doesn't want to stay because we don't have Kyrie. I think he does want to stay, but his body is telling him it might be time to hang it up. That's what I think is going on. I think he's concerned about how he's going to recover from that foot surgery, if it's going to be surgery, or how he's going to be able to move forward with that foot if he decides not to have surgery. His body showed him something in Denver. And there's a good chance that the Denver Nuggets are going to be the best team in the Western Conference next year, too, which means he's going to have to win games in altitude next year, too. And if he wasn't able to perform this year, is he going to be able to perform next year there? It's not as simple as just having a better team than the Nuggets. You got to be able to perform out there. You got to be able to win a game or win a series in altitude. And I'm telling you, that's a big deal. That is a major deal when you're considering what the outlook looks like. You know what I mean? So I get that. I get that a lot. I think LeBron James is looking at a lot, and he's looking at Anthony Davis not being the most sturdy piece as well, and wondering probably, and this is just me talking, but wondering if the Lakers are going to keep Anthony Davis. And maybe that influences what they do, what he does. Because if they mess around and trade Anthony Davis, that made him, that may make him want to get the hell up out of here too. Or stay, whatever he decides, whatever he feels about AD. I don't know. He said that he had a conversation with AD, and they said that they came to the conclusion that this is the most talented team that they've been a part of, one of the most, since they've been here, if not the most talented team they've been a part of in LA. So that is a raging success for Rob Pelinka to have that type of thing said about the team he put together, and I think that speaks to their desire to keep the team together. So hopefully that means that the small changes that I think we should make aren't things that they don't think we should make. Beasley, D'Lo, our best shooters, replace them. Simply put, replace them. Beasley and D'Lo are too expensive, man. Too expensive for the type of non-production that comes from being in Darvin's system. Okay, now if we're going to replace our coach with coaches that know how to use those players a little better, put them in positions to be their best selves, have them turn into their absolute highest selves, then that makes a lot of sense. But if we're going to come back with Darvin, let's learn from what we just saw. Certain people do not play well in his system. Unfortunately, one of them is my favorite guy, Vanderbilt. He don't fit on Darvin's system. So we got to be real about that. Vanderbilt is a very, very necessary piece for all teams in the league, which means he's one of our most valuable pieces if we can raise his value somehow. The way we had him in the season, we're not going to get the most for him. And so hopefully he can start the season, play well, with the little minutes that Darvin will likely give him in our system next year. And then from there, probably end up trading him, which is something I would not like at all. But makes a lot of sense to me if he can't look no better than we had him looking in these playoffs. So this type of stuff is just like, man, are we sure we should be shaking up the roster at all? Are we sure? Or is it the system itself that needs to be exiting the equation? So it's look, I'm at the end of the road when, and I said that Darvin Ham needed to win the championship in order to win me over. Now that we're here, I don't sense anybody firing him, so I'm not going to call for anybody firing him. That's kind of how I feel about it. I don't sense anybody saying, yo, this is something the Lakers are thinking about doing, so I'm not going to waste my breath. But I am telling you, he lost me this year with the small ball, D'Lo substitutions. Let's go back to that, even though it didn't work. That is a trait for me that I just see down the road that if he applies that again, it's going to give me the same results, and I'm going to want to fire him then. And I mean, it's that kind of thing. It's like, I don't think that what we saw there was something that we're not going to see again in a different way. Because he applied that same formula 3 different times or so throughout the season, which means I'm expecting it 3 more times next season. And it's just like, yo, that stuff costs us. It's a lot of common sense stuff that we identified that we didn't see there. So, hey, the Lakers don't want to fire their coach this year. Hopefully Darvin has a huge jump next year. And the roster is just as talented so it can carry him throughout whatever mistakes he made. Because believe me, we would have lost a lot more games with him running the show if that roster wouldn't have been as talented as it was. And that's what I know. So, I'm gonna sit back and chill, man. I'm gonna sit back and chill. But I'm a little frustrated with the coaching situation, and I'm worried if we decide to make moves with the roster, we're going to mess around and bring more players to us that he's going to continue to not necessarily get the most out of, and we're going to have another devaluing situation there. So, and I don't know if that's a coach thing, maybe that's the AD and Bron thing. But as we mentioned before, a lot of times players come to this place and they just can't function properly. You can't get nothing out of them. It's like they come here with all kinds of value, and by the time they leave here, they're worthless. And so that's D'Lo, that's Beasley, that's a lot of them dudes, and I'm tired of that, man. Whatever is making that be the case needs to exit left. So that's how I feel about it, man. Tighten up with the smarts. If the Lakers are gonna do anything, they gotta improve their overall IQ. I think, and I've said this once, I think there should be some additions to the coaching staff, maybe to give some extra looks in some ways. I just didn't see enough people over there. Maybe that's not up. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but it seems to me that Darvin in his rookie season needed a little more help. Some of the stuff that you would want some of the players to be on top of, like clock management stuff, timeout, use of timeout stuff. We need another guy for that stuff. Somebody who wasn't there this year needs to be in charge of those things. And I think it'll go a long way in helping Darvin Ham, because we had too many problems with that this year. Even in the last game, the substitution patterns and stuff like that left us at a disadvantage. Many people talked about the substitution of LeBron James in Game 3, where we subbed him out for a couple seconds and ended up giving up 1,000,000 points in like that small amount of time. It's like those are the type of things. It's like we got to have somebody on top of that. We got to have scientists in place for clock management and all clock things. So that's important, man. We got to get better at that. And make sure the point guard you're bringing in, if you're bringing in somebody like that, is very good at that. Because we need to be able to close these games. And I see why they want to bring in Trae Young and Kyrie Irving, because we know they will help us in that area severely, more than D'Lo and Schroeder were able to. So that's just real. What else? I don't know how to feel about bringing back the whole team. Because I want to, but there are pieces I really don't want back. I want them dudes replaced. Some of them. Like, I'm just going to be honest with you. The two I've already mentioned, yeah, man, we can replace them. Give me a point guard and give me another shooter. And that's why that number 17 pick is looking so interesting to me, because if we use it the right way, they will take care of one of them two pieces. Like, if we get the shooter that should be in the range of 17, I don't know who it is. It might be Whitehead, it might be Hawkins. I don't know. One of them scores. Might be Keontae George. I don't know. But we need to get us somebody who can be Beasley for us. Somebody who can do what Beasley does, that coach can trust. Somebody that's going to be microwavable. It's going to light up the score. And have a lot of flair to him. So there's a couple guys in that 17 range that we should be able to snag and get that type of dynamic and upside. And so that's something I think the Lakers may want. Because I don't know, man. I just understand that even though Beasley played some good ball here and there, he looks terrible in Darvin's system. It's going to probably continue to look that way next year. And so, and all the small ball stuff. It's another reason why I'm not so sold on Darvin. Is he really going to run that stuff next year? And if so, can we get personnel that runs that a little better? It's another reason why I'm hesitant about supporting bringing everybody back, because we didn't use everybody right. So if we're going to have the same team, we got to understand he's going to have the same problems. He's going to want to use 3-guard lineups with small ball guys, and all them forwards that we got are going to continue to sit. So does it make much sense to bring back that? Or should it make more sense to bring back more of what it is that would make him comfortable? Guys that he can use, he believes in, so we can have a roster that makes more sense for the stuff that he wants to do. So that's more important to me than anything else, honestly. It's the fact that even though I believed in the roster greatly and loved what he could do defensively and all those different things, he didn't use that thing right. He needed an entirely different roster to fit the crap that he believed in. So I think we should probably get that, since you're not firing the coach. Get the pieces that he needs so that we don't make the same mistake we made with Mike D'Antoni, having him running around with players that you know damn well ain't going to run his system. So I know Jeannie remembers those days. We need to not make that mistake with Darvin Ham, and I think we need to bring him players that fit his style. So that's another reason why we should probably tweak the roster a little bit. We put together an excellent defensive team with length and all types of stuff that I truly believe in. I think he wants something else. I think he wants Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine, Trae Young, um, Anthony Davis and LeBron James. That's how he wants his starting lineup. And then from there, we just shoot the ball all day long, punt the defensive end, and score 150 points. I think Darvin Ham would thrive with a lineup like that. I don't think we would win a championship, but I think his offense would look fantastic with some stuff like that. And then you would get out rebounded every night, no rim protection really, but you would score like crazy, and his offense would look great. And it would be guards league like he wants it to be. So that's more like what he wants, ain't what I want. But it is what it is. So I'm telling you guys, if we're not putting together something that Darvin can use a bit more to his liking, then I promise you, we're going to have half a team that's not getting used just like we did this year. Wenyen, all those guys that can't really dribble the ball, and the guys a little too tall, got too much length and all that. Don't even think for a second that that's going to be something he looks at as a plus. You're going to put that dude on the back of the bench just like he did everybody else that could play that way. Just being honest. Get him a bunch of short people. He'll be happy that way. So that's what I see there, man. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's the way to go. Maybe investing in Trae Young makes the most sense because of that. maybe that's what you do. But I'm telling you, I don't believe in that at all. I don't think small ball works. I don't think that's where the league is headed. Guys are just getting taller, faster, better. So we'll see what the Lakers decide to do in that regard. I just think it'd probably be easier to just get you a coach that can run a system with the guys that you have, so you don't have to make any changes to bring back the same team you want to. And then that coach will make that team look great. He'll be able to use Vanderbilt and Wenyen and AD and Rui and have some combination of the best rebounding and shot blocking team in the world with the same roster we got. That's exactly what it would be, the best shot blocking and rebounding team in the world if used correctly. Bamba and all them dudes long as hell, man. Do you have any idea how much length we could have used? The team wasn't even used properly this year. You're talking about bringing everybody back. So yeah, that's where my skepticism comes in, man. You start thinking about how we got swept, and you just know it wasn't because the roster couldn't compete. It's just because you were doing stuff that didn't give you the best chance to succeed with that roster. And the Nuggets didn't have that problem because over the last 4 years, they didn't went through all different types of options to figure themselves out. Made all those mistakes 10 times over and don't make them again. That kind of thing with the Nuggets. And so it's like we just ran into somebody who knew themselves better than us, and that's it. That we got to come back knowing ourselves better this year. But what you don't do is come back with the same stuff when it was misused the last time. No, that's not continuity. That's coming back to do the wrong thing again. So let's not. Yeah, that's where my head is, man. I don't really know what's right. I don't want to do too much shaking things up just the same. That's why it's like it's a torn space to be in, because it's like in a perfect world, the roster's fine, the coach is fine. Make a couple pieces, draft 17, and get make a couple moves, draft 17, and you'll have a team that should be able to move forward in the future. I think that's a good idea, but the Darvin factor and the small ball factor, and if we draft another long, tall dude, will he get any playing time? That's the question. So I don't know, but nevertheless, we're hopeful that LeBron James will see more optimism in all of this than I do. So he'll come back and save us from what will likely be a really tough year if he doesn't. A really tough year. So that's what I see there. Is there any type of provision? And I use the word provision because I don't know what other words to use, but is there any type of amendment, anything in this collective bargaining agreement that will protect the Lakers from LeBron's salary evaporating into nothing upon his retirement? That's what I want to know. Yes, his cap space should be vacated, but that's not what we're losing. We're losing LeBron James. So what we need is LeBron James or some pick equity in his stead. Because you don't replace LeBron James with with cap space. You do not. And so that's the benefit of trading him, because you can get back all that stuff. But if he's going to retire on us, should there not be some way to protect these franchises from something like this happening? Because that's a massive piece to just dissipate into nothing. And it is a circumstance where we are kind of guilt tripped into allowing that to happen based on his status in the league. Should there not be some protection like that? That's all I'm saying. Should there not be some insurance for this? Because otherwise, what's the incentive to bring in a guy like that ever again? for me, it's like I'm not bringing in Dame Lillard because he's going to end up retiring on me. I ain't bringing in Kevin Durant because he's going to end up retiring. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, why would I even honor a guy like that to bring him to my organization in his twilight years? If I'm ownership from here on out, when this type of stuff can happen to me. So these are the type of things NBA gonna have to do something about this, man. As a Laker fan, I love Bron. I want him to stay, but I know he's at the end, and it's in my best interest to get something for him before he's gone. But I'm not allowed to do that because he's clutch guy and he's Bron. It's disrespectful, and I'm stuck. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I feel as a fan, and I want the NBA to do something about that. So something to think about. What else, man? I didn't listen to any of the exit interviews. I really don't. Most of the time, most years, when they do these exit interviews, for some reason, never, ever watch any of that. But you know me, I don't really watch the players talk too much either. It'd probably help the channel if I did, but the after stuff, when the media's asking them a bunch of questions they don't want to hear, they don't want to answer, rather, I just actually don't want to hear those questions either, to be completely honest with you. I really, truly believe in what Stephen A has taught us, which is that is necessary because it promotes the league and it keeps the players in everyone's faces so that we can keep them famous and there be stars, and it's just overall a big commercial for the league and a way for people to understand what players are thinking and all that. And so I know how important it is, but for me, watching the NBA my whole life, you watch enough of them press conferences, seeing those players get irritated with those questions and stuff like that, you just kind of, in the name of them not liking it, just don't like it yourself, to be dead honest with you. I kind of sympathize with the players and just say, yo, they don't want to be there, so I'm not supporting that. Let them go home to their families sooner. And if they want to do it like Draymond or something like that, I think that's probably a more advanced way to go going forward, so that they don't just have to do stuff they don't want to do, literally. I think it'll help the overall morale with the team. I think it'll help with these guys getting more rest. I think it'll help with everything. If these guys are just not forced to do stuff within the circumstance outside of what it is that they absolutely want to do. And what you'll find is a lot of these guys do want to talk to the media. They do want to be superstars. And the ones who don't, you probably don't want to hear from them anyway, to be completely honest with you. So that's kind of how I look at that. I think we've gotten enough promotion of the league over the last 50 years to where everybody knows who the NBA is. So we don't need random player X to get up there after a game when he's absolutely pissed off and pretend like he's not. I don't think that's necessary anymore. So just want to put that out there. At any rate, I'm pretty sure there's some good information in the exit interviews. So I guess it would be a good idea for me to go check them out so I can bring some stuff back to you. But that's truly how I feel about all that, man. At any rate, I think that's all I have to say about this. I'm going to get myself a meal here, take some laundry out of the dryer, and just try to keep my ear to the Lakers streets and see if there's anything to listen to, since we definitely do not have a Game 5 tonight. That definitely is not the case. So, yeah, that's what that is, man. It didn't feel good to get swept. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. It didn't feel good to get swept. But I'm listening to everybody, and we're calm. We respect that the way that we got swept wasn't embarrassing or anything like that. But if you want my Laker mind to not have a bad taste in my mouth about how that played out, or you want me to bring back the players who struggled in that series, it's a hard sell. That's a hard sell, buddy. I'm just being honest with you. So that is the end of that particular thought. And I hope the Lakers know what they're doing, man, because we only, the Lakers have extended themselves in making more changes to their team from year to year than they necessarily need to. A lot of the time. Salute to Kobe Bennett, of course, but that's what it is. After 2020, we won the championship. We made some changes, probably too many. Took on some discount players and stuff like that. Weren't the greatest fit. Didn't maneuver the team soon enough to make us good enough to ultimately be who we wanted to be. I think LeBron got hurt that year or something like that. And of course, we had a team that we were pretty solid with after that. We could have brought those guys back after making those moves, but then had the grand idea to bring Russell Westbrook to us. And I just think that has been a very difficult thing to recover from. Came in last year, obviously knowing we needed to trade Russ, knowing we need to make massive trades, knowing that we had a bunch of players together that didn't even really fit. It gets to a point where it's like, all right, we got the trades necessary. to get us a team that we think is solid. Now, going into the offseason now, let's have some balance about the changes we make and make sure that they're necessary. You know, let's make sure we don't do anything overextending ourselves in regards to making changes that don't make us better, or overreaching for a star that's going to deplete us of value and ultimately make him somebody that's not as effective with us, or anything like that. You know, I'm not telling you I know what's right. I'm just telling you I know what's wrong. And a lot of times we be doing too much when it's time to make changes with our roster. So that this offseason, I want us to be just as intent as we were when we were devising the trades that we made this mid-season. If Rob Pelinka is still in that space, I think we're going to be very pleased with what he does, even if we lose some people. You know what I mean? That's what it really comes down to. Just like he got us these guys, he can pull another rabbit out of his hat. That's the confidence we can extend to him now. So that's what I'm hopefully he'll do. Stay in that same zone and continue to bring us the best you can bring us. And keep what it is that's necessary to keep. And that's what I got. That is what I got to say, man. Size matters, but so does the ability to use it properly, or otherwise it's useless. So that's what I have. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching.